Good morning. The time is 8:29 a.m., December 14th, 2024. Okay. I am at liberty to report last night's events. The poisoning continued until there was two more attacks of gas. Sick. I recovered. I prepared something to eat. Then you saw the report about the good guys and the compound here, and then that's what I'm reporting now. The following morning, the events that followed after that. I can't testify I was poisoned. I can't also testify there was not poison. It's just I wasn't getting really sick from it. I got tired after eating, and that report that I put up last night, put the sound machine on in order to get sleep. I went to bed in my chair, which is where I sleep. I don't deserve to sleep in a chair, but it's just right now the circumstances. It is what it is. So I went to bed, incredibly tired from being poisoned so much. It takes all my physical energy, and I have to recover. During the hours of 9:30 p.m., December 13th, 2024, to the hours of probably, let's say, midnight. I wasn't looking at the clock. I was sound asleep. But it had been a few hours. I was awoken by the stench of dead bodies coming up from my floorboards in that area that they go in and out of, which is on the 1511 side of the property, 1509. I filmed it. It's underneath my chair. It was so stinky and so horrific to smell a dead body out of nowhere. So intense and strong, the smell. I woke up. It will wake a person up. I started breathing through my mouth and praying for mercy. My guidance was breathe through your mouth, turn the sound machine off. I didn't hear anything down there like I report with combat. I say there's fights. I say there's combat. I didn't witness anything like that, but I heard humans moving down there, and working is what I call it. They're not working, but it makes the point. I heard activity. It lasted, I don't know, 10 minutes, but this is me laying here being woken up by the stench of dead bodies, so that's good enough for a testimony for now. And I could hear everything because the sound machine was off. Okay. The stench lasted for about the time that I heard the humans moving around down there. And then it was safe to breathe through my nose again. I wasn't horrified by the stench of dead bodies. That stench had gone away, just like it had just suddenly shown up. It then goes away, okay? Because there's massive violent felony crimes that they're engaged in down there that I witnessed again. I breathe through my nose and I go back to sleep. There's no other alternative, okay? When you're needing to sleep, you sleep. I desperately needed to rest. The sound machine stayed off, fell asleep. There was no need to have it, to wake up and put it back on, because I was not disturbed by mufflers or raging sirens. I slept deeply until about 3 in the morning. It was really late at night. I was certain of that, and this is how I know it. I'll explain this in my testimony. It was like 3 in the morning. Out of nowhere, I'm awakened by more human activity in that area. They come in and you hear these really squeaky hinges like a barnyard. And it wakes you up, and it's rather loud. But that's what I've always reported here about their doors they've built here. They're not doors, they're holes in the wall, etc., etc. Some have like a door with hinges, and you really can hear that. I don't know why they did that. Ask the special forces, not me. So they totally came in. My heart's racing. I know they're underneath me again. It's so frightening, with the violence that they are always carrying out. It's really late at night. They're up to something terrible. And I'm laying right over them. They start working. Massive, fast-paced, endless, like a factory, hard at work. They seem furious. Boom, boom, boom. All these noises, scraping, dragging, booming, like work, not fights. Or at least if there was, I'm sorry, I did not know. This is why you confirm this with the professional military officers. I am giving my testimony to what I witnessed up here. This working continued. They've shoved something under my chair. This is the stuff that I'm been allowed to report. They did all of it. Everything and anything, they did it down there. And then it seemed like they sat down there. But they could have been killed. Anything could have happened. They could have left. But I thought they sat down there because then I rolled over about 10 minutes later. I stayed really still. And as soon as I rolled over, one of them moved down there and moved this stuff that they had set. So with my motion in the chair, their working erupted out of nowhere, and they were back and moving stuff around. It seemed to be following me. That's the best word I can explain. When I moved, they moved, okay? It was really scary. So then I started to think this was at me. I don't know what else to conclude. And then I started to think they crept in at 3 in the morning. This has to do with me. I don't really know, but they're moving around me. If I move, they move. They weren't gone. I don't know how this is happening down there. Is this automatic? Because I know things buzz and beep, so I just don't know. And then within 10 minutes after me moving and whatever they put down there, or whoever was down there, they moved. They came back in and you heard the hinges. And you heard all this booming and working. dragging, just scary shit. Scraping sounds, it was wild. And then at that point, another one went off. And there was more scraping sounds and working sounds on the side of 1507 at the same time. Now everything's going off on each end of my room. There's it's going off on 1511 and it's going off on 1507. It's going off by the floor, but outside. It seemed outside, but by the floor of 1507 in my room, that end. And then I heard a pop or something loud, like plump, pop, just major loud noise outside, without any doubt, right in that area of 1507. Okay, and that all that scraping, it sounded like scraping metal and sounds like that were going off loud in coordination with 1511. All that stopped after that pop poof sound. I don't know, but it was loud, dude, and it was happening like at 3:30 in the morning, and you can only figure how anyone would feel. So I felt pretty upset. I'm laying there breathing, I'm not sleeping. I'm exhausted. I want to go back to sleep. It's interesting how I just wanted to rest. It's just the truth, how weird you think you would be ready to get up. I wasn't. I just wanted to rest. My guidance was lay still, don't report this, don't move, pretend you're asleep. Just the same type of guidance. I pray, I'm laying there, what do I do? That was what I was to do. So then it was all happening only on 1511 side after that. It didn't erupt on 1507 side. But it kept going on the 1511 side underneath my chair. And then there was a major combat, is what I deduce and conclude. About 5 minutes after 1507, I heard a boom. And just like a catastrophe, stuff dropping, clinking, stuff falling down right underneath me. Okay? Then I thought, okay, it stopped. It was quiet. But it started back up again. Somebody came back in within a matter of under 5 minutes to that same area, and there was clinking and working. And another, but not as loud, boom, boom, like just someone hitting a wall, falling down, or they dropped something really heavy, and then it was quiet. But there wasn't all the stuff falling with them, clinking, calamity. There wasn't that. It's just a boom. And then another one came in. It was quiet for about 5-10 minutes, and then another one had come in following that. And there was more quiet sounds, constant working, really scary stuff they were doing. And then it just stopped. There was no incident that I can report as to why it stopped. I didn't hear them leave. There was sounds like a person was also during this whole event. There was something on the side of the house, outside, where I report these white terrorists come and go from their backyard of 1511. There was something scraping or rapping, making some sort of racket noises periodically. Like it sounded like it was right outside, but underneath my window. I could hear this crap outside a little bit, but mostly going on underneath the floor in that area where I know they go and come, and you can hear them coming and so on and so forth. Okay, so let's fast forward back to the very end of this. was then that working had stopped, but I didn't hear any boom or any calamity. I heard that last one come in, and they went to work under the floor, and they were also down there working in the whole space. You could hear this really scary, you could figure just horrid crap they're doing. You could hear it all. And they were doing the same thing for a good 5 minutes, fast paced. They knew what they were doing. It was rigorous work. I can describe the details another time. And then it just got silent. Everything just stopped. I don't know how or why, but it was just done and over. There was absolutely nothing I could report except all the sounds stopped, and there was no humans down there ever since then. Thank God, I have not smelled anything either. So this morning, I cannot report this place, but I was poisoned since 6:30 a.m. 2 different times. And I can report that I heard them under my floor from 1507 in, propelling or digging, scratching, whatever it is they do, before I got sick. So I was poisoned again this morning, but since that 2 times, it happened in the course of about 20 minutes. I have not been poisoned after that, but they got me really good in the bathroom on the second poisoning. They're filling up the bathroom, and this is stuff that you don't ever want to experience physically. I'm horrified, everything all again. And I just, ever since then, I've been in my main room. And the fire department here of this city, the Washington, D.C. Fire Department, wants to come in on a mental health check if I even talk about any of this. Is tyrants. They have no right to put me through this, destroy my life, and then come here and say I'm delusional. I beg God to have his will be that this finally please ends. But whatever God's will is, I praised God for my life yesterday. On the 13th of December, I got on my knees and I praised him. That's all I did while I was down there. I have my little altar. And that's all I needed to do, because I had to thank him for the fact I was alive on the 13th of December after what they did on the evening of December 12th. And then it turned out that they came back and did more really evil things on the evening or early morning of December 13th and the early morning of December 14th. I have no other reason but to conclude that this had a lot to do with me in the room, but I think it's wise to verify that with military officials. Having heard my testimony, you'd want to confirm it with the guys that are hands-on in this. Because I'm up here, exactly. I don't know what they were doing, but it was dangerous. And then it turns into this chaos and pop booming sounds outside of the property going on somewhere out there really close to my window of 1507. Like they were, again, everywhere in my words. It was so horrible. So then you got this fire department that wants to come and say, I'm literally telling stories. So, okay, I'm just going to try to stay calm today. All right, bye.